Tonight, a population milestone.
It comes with great opportunity and it comes with some challenges as well.
Is Winnipeg prepared as the city's population takes another step closer to 1 million people? Also tonight.
I think what we need to do here is show the people that a third option is the best thing for this province.
Which constituency Manitoba's Liberal leader is taking a run at in order to secure his own seat in the legislature, and the veteran politician lending him a hand. Plus, planning ahead.
For us, it is our #1 risk within the municipality here.
How much one municipality is preparing to spend in preparation for the next wildfire season.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Winnipeg is celebrating a major milestone. The city's population has surpassed 850,000, according to new data from Statistics Canada. So how will that affect our city? Well, that's the million-dollar question. To help us answer it, CTV's Harrison Shin joins us now live. Harrison, I know you spoke to some experts about our population growth today. How are they reacting?
Well, merely a union representing healthcare professionals says it makes sense given how much demand has increased. One migration expert says the growth won't last long. Winnipeg is growing. According to Mayor Scott Gillingham, the city came in 5th for the largest total population increase in Canada.
We're just pushing the million population. That creates, as I said, I think a real sense of momentum and growth and excitement.
On Friday, Statistics Canada released population estimates for municipalities. As of July 1st, 2025, about 855,000 people called the PEG home, an increase of about 8,400 from July 2024. In 2023, it was 820,000, with 2024 reaching a little over 847,000. What contributed to the increase for the last 1 year? StatsCan says it was 610 due to births and deaths, 13,160 for net international migration, but Winnipeg also lost about 5,300 people to other Manitoba regions and other provinces. Lori Wilkinson is the Canada Research Chair in Migration Futures. She says the increase relies on immigration, so that may not last given recent immigration cuts.
If you're looking long term, it doesn't look like we're going to grow all that much, because nobody's going to grow all that much because we've cut back the major driver of population growth.
Wilkinson says the million-dollar question is, can the city keep up with the growth? Winnipeg's mayor admits the city may not have enough housing.
Even CMHC has says no, we don't. That's why you know, the federal government, and we partner with them on some of their federal programs like the Housing Accelerator Fund to get more housing built, and built sooner, faster.
From a healthcare perspective, the Manitoba Association of Healthcare Professionals says the numbers explain a lot.
The front line is stretched beyond capacity. The demand for specialized services like respiratory therapy or diagnostic imaging is growing, and staffing is not kept up with population growth.
Linklater says other aspects in healthcare like mental health and social work are going to see an increased demand. In terms of when the deep cuts to immigration will hit, Wilkinson says it can happen as early as this year.
All right, thanks for this, Harrison. Meantime, Mayor Gillingham is voicing his concern over the chaos unfolding on the streets of Minneapolis. He's reached out to that city's mayor to express his dismay.
I hope to see a return to peace in your streets as your sister city, and that is absolutely my concern. I frankly can't imagine what he's going through as mayor.
Daily protests have been ongoing in Minneapolis since the U.S. Department of Homeland Security ramped up immigration enforcement. A lawsuit seeking an order to halt or limit the enforcement action was filed days after the fatal shooting of Renee Good by an ICE agent. U.S. President Donald Trump is calling on the judge to reject the lawsuit. Gillingham says all Canadians, including politicians at all levels, must band together.
There's no roadmap to deal with chaos. And what we're seeing now in the United States consistently from the leader is very chaotic. So I think that's why we as municipal leaders need to be standing in solidarity with our premiers and with our prime minister as well, to try to sometimes respond and other times certainly to take a defensive and protective position for our interests.
Gillingham says he's tasked his staff with coming up with different scenarios or questions to pose to Winnipeg's different agencies to ensure the city is prepared for the changing world, be it an influx of Americans seeking a new home in Winnipeg or Canadian Armed Forces members being deployed elsewhere. The new leader of Manitoba's Liberal Party is changing up his playbook in the hopes he can win a seat in the legislature in the next election. Willard Reaves ran twice unsuccessfully in Fort White, losing to PC leader Abhi Khan. Now he's taking a crack at River Heights, which is currently held by the NDP. With more on this, CTV's Jeff Keel joins us now live. So Jeff, why did Reaves choose River Heights?
Because River Heights was once a longtime Liberal stronghold under former Liberal MLA and leader John Gerard, who is also backing Reaves for this run. Manitoba's Liberal Party leader is running a different route.
I just feel that River Heights represent the Liberal Party in a very big way.
Former Winnipeg Blue Bomber Willard Reaves has been Liberal leader for a few months, but does not have a seat in the legislature. As a previous candidate, Reaves ran twice in his backyard, Fort White, losing in a 2022 by-election and then in a 2023 general election to PC leader Abhi Khan. Now he's putting his name forward in River Heights, a seat former Liberal leader John Gerard held onto for nearly 2.5 decades before the NDP took it in the last election.
John's been my mentor, and to be in a riding where he has done unbelievable, great work, I plan on continuing that.
Pollster Curtis Brown says the switch from Fort White to River Heights is logical.
But there is a certain base of Liberal support there in the province, probably more so than in Lindenwoods and the Fort White riding. So yeah, it makes sense.
I'm excited about Willard running in River Heights. There's lots of Liberals in River Heights.
Gerard is backing Reaves and plans on door knocking with him too.
I'm certainly ready to do what I can, and I think he's the right person for River Heights.
But Brown says it will be a challenge for Reaves to beat incumbent NDP, MLA, and Cabinet Minister Mike Moraz.
It's still going to be pretty tricky, especially as long as the NDP remains as popular as they are.
Reaves says they can show voters a third option is the best choice, and as leader, it's crucial he wins a seat.
I think it's very critical that to start things off in a great way for Manitoba, we have to have the representation.
The Liberals currently hold one seat in the legislature held by Cindy Lamoureux.
So, Jeff, when will Reaves officially become the Liberal candidate in River Heights?
Yeah, the party has set a joint nomination meeting for tomorrow in River Heights. Also on that ballot of nominations will be Cindy Lamoureux for Tyndall Park.
All right, thanks for this, Jeff. If you couldn't get a hold of 311 earlier today, you are not alone. The city's 3 call centers were all down for much of the day. The city of Winnipeg posted on its X page mid-morning that 311, Water and Waste, and Winnipeg Transit call centers were experiencing unexpected issues and were not able to take any calls. Residents were asked to submit their service requests online instead. The city shared an update shortly before 3 this afternoon, saying the phone lines were operational once again. CTV News has reached out for details on the outage. All right, let's bring in Colleen Brady now and get a first look at your very cold Skywatch forecast. I guess it's a bit warmer, but I can't tell.
Marginal at best, right? It wasn't quite as bitterly cold today, and tomorrow will be actually not quite as cold as today. But after that, we just fall right off a cliff, folks. I'm afraid this forecast isn't changing. We are heading into a deep freeze later on this week, and already there is extreme cold warnings in effect in parts of the province. There's blowing snow advisories in effect in other parts of Manitoba tonight. I'll show you where, and yes, I will reluctantly show you the very cold temperatures to come. But let's take a look through the Bathfitter Live Eye. The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. In Winnipeg right now, minus 19, partly cloudy. It feels like minus 27 with the wind chill. Winds out of the south-southwest at 14 kilometers an hour. The pressure's dropping and the humidity is 81%.
The family of a Fisher Branch man who suffered a fatal heart attack in March during a 911 outage is suing its telecom service provider. In the statement of claim, Dean Switzer's brother Greg accuses TELUS of neglecting its duty to provide continuous 911 service, failing to properly train its workers on what to do if the system fails, and making sure a proper fail-safe was in place. It goes on to say Dean's death was a direct result of those alleged failures, and he would have survived had the 911 service been working. In a brief statement to CTV News, a TELUS spokesperson acknowledged the grief Switzer's family is going through and says the company has taken a number of steps to make its network more resilient. No statement of defense have been filed, and none of the claims have been tested in court. TELUS previously acknowledged there was a 38-hour outage during that time, but instead laid the blame on another telecom company, Bell, saying it only leases the 911 network. It also said the technicians sent to investigate the problem did not alert higher-ups that the 911 system was compromised. Bell is the parent company of CTV News. 3 infrastructure projects in Brandon are getting a funding boost from the province. $400,000 will help establish a consolidated waste and recycling site at Eastview Landfill. Another $400,000 will go towards renovating team change rooms and public washrooms at Andrews Field. And $235,000 will be used to resurface the parking lot at the Brandon Community Sportsplex. Brandon's mayor says this will help reduce municipal taxes in the Wheat City by 2%.
There's 3 projects, and they're all one-off, one-time costs that are in our budget. The province is covering those, so they're removed from the budget, so they reduce the taxes.
Municipal and Northern Relations Minister Glenn Simard says other municipalities will also be receiving support through the One Manitoba Growth Revenue Fund, which was announced last year. A Manitoba municipality is boosting its resources for combating wildfires in the future.
The Armapiney takes the wildfire season very serious. For us, it is our #1 risk within the municipality here.
Southeastern Manitoba's Armapiney has earmarked just over $1 million from its budget towards wildfire preparedness. The investment comes after the RM was one of many impacted by significant wildfires last year. The budget includes the purchase of a 3,000-gallon water tanker truck. The RM CAO says funding from a provincial grant has enabled it to train up to 60 firefighters in the area on wildland firefighter training.
We really strive to give the firefighters, volunteer firefighters, the tools and technology that is necessary to do their job safely. So it's a major investment. It is actually about 27% of our total budget.
The RM recently secured a provincial grant for a thermal imaging drone to help identify hotspots on the ground. Piney is also working on finalizing a push alert notification system for residents when a wildfire is detected in the area. It hopes to have that up and running by spring. Francophone Manitobans will soon have an easier time accessing legal services. The province is shifting some French-speaking staff members from various different departments to one centralized hub located at St. Boniface Courthouse. Officials say you'll be able to get help with court forms, scheduling, interpretation, legal advice, victim services, and family resolution services, among other things.
Instead of being sent to many offices or departments in different areas, users will now have this one-stop shop, a coordinated point of contact and access for justice services.
Justice Minister Matt Reaves says the expanded facility will open February 17th. Still to come tonight, the Prime Minister's frank message about the changing world order.
The old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it.
How Mark Carney is calling on other nations to push back. That's next. Taking a look at the markets tonight, crude oil added just over $1. The loonie closed at 72.31 cents U.S. Gold futures jumped $170. The TSX lost 340 points. The Dow Jones plunged 870 points, while the Nasdaq dropped 561 points. First Nation organizations are paying tribute to a longtime Indigenous physician, researcher, and advocate. First Nations health organization, KIM, says its CEO, Dr. Barry Lavallee, has died unexpectedly. In an online statement, it says he was a fearless advocate for those who faced injustice and harm. MKO put forward a statement as well, saying he was a, quote, true champion of First Nations health and well-being who offered a steady hand and reassuring presence during the COVID-19 pandemic. And the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs says he was a member of the Métis community of St. Laurent and dedicated his life to improving health and wellness for First Nations and Métis people. It goes on to say he fought tirelessly for First Nations people and challenged injustice wherever it existed. Strong words from our Prime Minister addressing leaders at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Without mentioning the U.S. President, Mark Carney said the rules-based world order is fading and we must adapt. He also reaffirmed Canada's support for Greenland. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more.
Nestled in the usually calm mountains of the ski town Davos, a chaotic meeting of hundreds of politicians and top business leaders at the World Economic Forum that this year Prime Minister Mark Carney used to deliver a frank message about the future.
The old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy. But we believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just.
Carney declared the U.S.-led world order dead and said countries must turn inward now that it's clear integration can lead to subordination.
Call it what it is, a system of intensifying great power rivalry where the most powerful pursue their interests using economic integration as coercion.
Withstanding those economic shocks, the Prime Minister said will require like-minded countries to pivot, to work together to hedge uncertainty. While Trump's name was never mentioned, Carney did call on middle powers like Canada to push back against domination by great powers, using tariffs as leverage and supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited.
In a world of great power rivalry, the countries in between have a choice. Compete with each other for favor, or to combine to create a third path with impact.
The message receiving what organizers described as a rare standing ovation at a summit where geopolitics and the future of Greenland is looming large.
Our commitment to NATO's Article 5 is unwavering. Canada strongly opposes tariffs over Greenland and calls for focused talks to achieve our shared objectives of security and prosperity in the Arctic.
Carney may get a chance to raise his concerns about Greenland directly to the U.S. president. While no meeting is currently scheduled between Carney and Donald Trump, the U.S. president will be here tomorrow at the same time as Mark Carney. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Davos, Switzerland.
And there's been a lot of chatter today over an image Donald Trump shared on Truth Social. It showed Canada and Greenland draped in the American flag. CTV's Michael Couture has reaction.
The original photo came from an August meeting between President Donald Trump and European leaders. It shows them in the Oval Office with a map of Ukraine and Russia in the background. A newly doctored version posted by Trump shows a different type of expansionism. The new map shows the stars and stripes painted over Greenland, Venezuela, and Canada.
He wants to be in control. He wants to manage. He wants to run the hemisphere and be a dictator.
Former Foreign Affairs Minister Lloyd Axworthy believes Canada needs to push back.
I think it's about time we showed a little sort of what the hell is going on, Mr. Trump? Would you stop this nonsense? Because if he's not confronted, then he will feel emboldened to go ahead.
Now, the Globe and Mail is reporting hypothetical responses to a U.S. military invasion are being modeled by the Canadian Armed Forces. However, the Foreign Affairs Minister would only speak broadly about national defense.
To always ensure that the defense and protection of our country is first and foremost on top of our list of priorities.
CTV News requested a comment from the Canadian Armed Forces, but we did not get one. Trump has mused about taking over Canada for more than a year, but one of his former advisors downplayed the seriousness of that particular post.
But just in an interview that he did a few hours ago, he didn't say anything about the United States taking over Canada, and in fact referred to Canada's interest also in the Arctic. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that from the Canadian perspective.
Kellyanne Shaw says Trump is having a little fun with that post, but for many in Canada, it's serious. Michael Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
The European Union is also pushing back on Greenland. Today, the bloc's top official criticized Donald Trump's plan to impose tariffs on countries that oppose a U.S. takeover of the island.
Our northern NATO members have Arctic-ready forces right now. And above all, that Arctic security can only be achieved together. And this is why the proposed additional tariffs are a mistake, especially between long-standing allies. The European Union and the United States have agreed to a trade deal last July. And in politics, as in business, a deal is a deal.
The European Commission president insists Europe is fully committed to Arctic security, but says plunging it into a downward spiral would only help the very adversaries both the U.S. and Europeans are trying to keep out of the region. Canada says it strongly opposes the tariffs. Canada's been invited to join Donald Trump's proposed Board of Peace. The entrance fee, though, is $1 billion. Today, Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne made it clear Canada will not pay to join the proposed Board of Peace.
With respect to the Board of Peace, I think you've heard the Prime Minister as well of his intention of joining. There's a lot of details to be worked out, but one thing which is clear is that Canada is not going to pay if we were to join the Board of Peace.
Many countries have been invited to join, Russia among them. The board's charter says the organization is meant to promote stability and restore peace and lawful governance in places such as Gaza. Trump says the board is necessary because he's not satisfied with the United Nations. Police in Australia are searching for answers following the discovery of the body of a Canadian teenager there this week.
At this stage, it's too early to speculate on cause of death. We simply can't confirm whether this young lady drowned or died as a result of being attacked by dingoes.
19-year-old Piper James was from Campbell River, BC. Police in the state of Queensland have declined to identify the victim, but say her body was found yesterday morning on a beach on Fraser Island. They say it was surrounded by a pack of about 10 wild dogs. Initial information suggests she may have gone for an early swim. James had been working on the island for the last 6 weeks and was traveling with a fellow Canadian. The results of a post-mortem are expected tomorrow. The first shipment of Canadian beef to China in more than 4 years is being prepared. The federal agriculture minister says China is moving quickly after Ottawa struck a deal with Beijing to reduce tariffs. McDonald says he's aware of a Canadian company shipping its first load of beef to China next week. China banned Canadian beef in late 2021 after an atypical case of BSE, also known as mad cow disease, was found on an Alberta farm.
That's how quickly this whole process has taken place. It's very interesting because when the door opened, it opened, and business people, and I got to give kudos to our stakeholders, farmers and processors, ranchers. They're ready.
We welcomed them reopening. To be honest, it should have been reopened 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. There was never scientific justification for maintaining the closure.
A Chinese importer has also bought a shipment of about 60,000 metric tons of Canadian canola. It's the first order since China halted imports in October in the dispute over tariffs. There was a dazzling display in the sky as the Northern Lights put on quite a show last night. Check this out. Scenes just like this were enjoyed in various regions of the world. Germany, parts of the U.S., China, and Hungary were all treated to spectacular displays. Experts say they resulted from a severe geomagnetic storm. In the UK, heightened solar wind activity pushed geomagnetic levels high enough for the lights to be seen across a wide area, including places well south of their typical range.
We got to make sure that mentally we're strong, and then we got to go and we got to get ourselves some points.
Up next, the Winnipeg Jets look to bounce back following another loss on the road. And who's suiting up for the Heritage Classic alumni game later this year? That's all coming up.
And those Northern Lights were active over Manitoba as well. All right, I'm stalling a bit here. I have to show you this, though. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, daytime highs of minus 27 degrees. I'll just back off here. Overnight lows in the minus 30s. By Sunday, minus 22 is improvement, if you want to call it that. Mostly sunny, minus 18 degrees on Monday under a mix of sun and cloud.
Jonathan Taves' return to Chicago was a moment for the ages. Blackhawks fans welcomed their former captain back with a nearly 5-minute standing ovation. And that was the big highlight of the night for the Jets, because despite some decent chances, they could not solve Blackhawks goalie Spencer Knight. The Jets lost this one 2-0. It's a quick turnaround for the team, though. They are back in action at home tonight against the St. Louis Blues.
Again, it's Central Division. We got to get after them. We got to, come home, make sure we get our rest, get ourselves ready. Again, we're in these 3 and 4s, like everybody's doing. We got to make sure that mentally we're strong, and then we got to go and we got to get ourselves some points.
The two teams squared off just over a month ago in Missouri, with the Blues blanking the Jets 1-0. Eric Comrie will likely get the start in net. Puck drop is 7 o'clock.
The Hockey Report, brought to you by Santa Lucia Pizza. Check out the game day special.
And speaking of the Jets, we are getting a glimpse at who will suit up in the Heritage Classic alumni game later this year.
We are excited to announce, as part of Tim Hortons NHL Heritage Classic weekend, that there will be an alumni game played on Saturday, October 24th, here at Canada Life Centre.
Before the Jets and Montreal Canadiens square off in the Heritage Classic on Sunday, October 25th, Jets and Habs alumni will take the ice the day before for a trip down hockey memory lane. And initial roster announcements today drew some excitement from participating players.
Now we kind of have like a real established alumni, that first crew of this iteration of the Jets have moved on to other things, and we're all kind of getting a little gray in our beards and stuff. So it's a great chance just to, I think really sort of establish, a culture of, guys coming back.
The Jets' initial roster will include fan favorites like Wheeler, Brian Little, Andrew Ladd, Paul Stastny, and of course, Big Buff, Dustin Byfuglien. More names will be revealed in the coming months.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady back now with your very cold Skywatch forecast. Things are improving a little bit before they get really cold.
It's going to get a little bit better before it gets much worse. And then it's going to get better next week, and then it's going to get worse again by the looks of it. A little bit more long range, but we'll wait until we get there before we talk about that in more detail. What's ahead? Well, we've got our hands full. It's not just the cold temperatures on the way. Some varying sky conditions as well. Now, as we head into the night, you can see pretty quiet right now on the radar, but snow will be blanketing Manitoba. Not significant amounts. It's light snow, but you'll see it's going to be very widespread, so much so that it's going to make its way into northwestern Ontario before tomorrow morning. But yeah, while the snow will be falling across the north, cold, very cold, bitterly cold air will be invading the region as well. So much so that Environment Canada has issued an orange warning for cold. Orange because the expected impact level, Environment Canada says, will be high, and you can certainly agree with that when wind chill values pushing -45, -50, if not colder, are expected really over the next 3 or 4 days and nights at least. You might see some moderation at times during the day, but not significant. Take a look at what it feels like out there right now. In Churchill, it feels like -38. In Thompson, it feels like -29. Down here in the south, we're not too far behind. Winnipeg, the current wind chill here, as well as in Brandon, feels like -28. Also, a yellow advisory for blowing snow has been issued by Environment Canada. This is for weather expected tomorrow, with that snow not just falling, but blowing around as well. So like we saw a few days ago, we have this area coming off Lake Manitoba, southeast down through the Red River Valley, and then southeast of Lake Winnipeg under this advisory. We're expected to see blowing snow all throughout the day tomorrow, and at times that could mean near zero visibility. So just be prepared for the possibility that that could happen. Winnipeg, you can see, is not under the advisory, but out in those open areas of the city, watch out for blowing snow as well. Speaking of the snow, here it comes over the next few hours. It's going to spread east throughout the night across the north. It's also going to slump south. And again, you can see compared to over Saskatchewan, it's much lighter stuff that will be falling over the next several hours. But as we get into tomorrow morning, we'll start to see those winds really accelerate. And then we'll see that snow break down as we get into the afternoon. But the question is how long into the afternoon it's going to last. Northwestern Ontario so it will last a little longer. Clears out in the north, then in the south by tomorrow night, and then the temperatures are just going to drop right off, and they're going to stay bitterly cold all throughout Thursday, Friday, through the weekend. Well, I showed you that long-range forecast. It's not going to really get any better until Sunday, and even then, minus 22 is the high that day. Tonight, we will actually see temperatures rising throughout the night. Minus 18, the coldest temperature of the night. We should get up to about minus 15 by morning, minus 14. And then we might see the temperature drop off a bit to minus 17 in the afternoon. Snow expected in the morning, chance of it in the afternoon. Speaking of snow, it will get to the northeast late tonight. Overnight lows in the minus 20s. Thompson minus 24 overnight. The temperature falls tomorrow afternoon in Thompson. In the northwest tonight, light snow arriving first this evening. Overnight lows not too cold just yet, but that cold air is going to be invading the region very soon. In the southwest tonight, light snow is expected to arrive this evening. Temperatures rising to minus 12, minus 13, and then falling in the afternoon between minus 18 and minus 21, with that snow continuing at least in the morning. Winnipeg in the southeast, temperatures rising throughout the night before they drop off in the afternoon. Again, snow expected late tonight and through at least the morning before it breaks down in the afternoon. Before morning, you'll get that snow in northwestern Ontario down to minus 22. It will continue tomorrow with highs between minus 15 and minus 17. Our first weather photo takes us east of Beausejour. Speaking of those northern lights, that photo is from Kirsten, a lovely shot there. And this next one is near Steinbach. That one is from Sherry. Email is yours to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. The Canadian Museum for Human Rights has reopened with expanded Holocaust education programs.
What can we do to fight anti-Semitism in Canada?
Something very simple, and that is to tolerate each other.
Dimensions in Testimony emphasizes the importance of memory preservation and tackling rising intolerance ahead of Holocaust Remembrance Day on January 27th. The interactive experience allows visitors to pose questions, bringing the personal stories of Holocaust survivors to life.
It feels like in real time they're responding to your questions because they draw from hours and hours of testimony, and you feel like you're having the most powerful conversation that truly moves you.
The Dimensions in Testimony experience is available daily in English and French from now through to the 31st. Meantime, the CMHR is celebrating a prestigious award for one of its latest exhibits. The museum received the Governor General's Award for Excellence in Museums for its exhibition, Love in a Dangerous Time, Canada's LGBT Purge. The exhibit, which opened early in 2025, explores how the queer community was targeted by the Canadian government in the latter half of the 20th century. For decades, members of the armed forces, RCMP, and civil service were often discriminated against and fired from their jobs for their sexual orientation.
I think the Canadian Museum for Human Rights grounds itself in survivor-centered storytelling, and the Love in a Dangerous Time was one of those examples where developing those close relationships with the LGBT Purge survivor community helped shape this exhibit.
Love in a Dangerous Time has now been extended and will run until the fall before traveling to other venues across the country.
And again, those baseline staffing numbers haven't expanded to meet the growing population.
Up next, a key role in the emergency room going understaffed. The warning coming from one Manitoba health worker union when we return. If you fail to follow through on your New Year's resolution to stop smoking, a new opportunity to quit is here. This is National Non-Smoking Week, and despite significant gains in reducing rates over the past 2 decades, progress seems to be stalling. Joining me now to share some of the latest data and to offer support to those wanting to quit is Rob Cunningham, Senior Policy Analyst with the Canadian Cancer Society. Rob, good to speak with you.
Hi, I'm really good to be with you.
First, maybe just give us an idea of how many Canadians still smoke.
Well, we still have 11% of Canadians who smoke, 3.6 million people. That's quite a lot. We have made progress. 1965, 50% of Canadians smoked, including 61% of men. But still, we have this objective of under 5% tobacco use by the year 2035. We have an enormous amount of work to do to get there.
You know, tobacco remains the leading preventable cause of death in this country, killing some 46,000 Canadians every year. The dangers of it are well known. They're right on the packages of cigarettes. So why do you think people still do it?
Well, in many cases, it's an addiction. They may have began as a teenager. They wish they could quit. It may take many tries to quit smoking. But we are seeing the progress. We just have to keep it up. And of course, the tobacco industry has opposed stronger laws that will help reduce smoking, including youth smoking. So we have to pursue these stronger laws despite that opposition.
There's so many alternative nicotine products on the market these days. Vaping devices, well known. These nicotine pouches seem to be very popular today. Many people see these as a better option than smoking. So I'm curious, are these products helping or hurting smoking cessation efforts?
Well, they are on the market. They are available to people who want to use them. But a fundamental concern is the extremely high rate of youth use of these products, youth vaping, and now youth use of these nicotine products, nicotine pouches. We have, among high school students in grade 12 in Canada, 27% who are vaping. That's triple the rate of smoking. It's triple the rate of where it was a number of years ago. And we need more measures to reduce youth vaping, including in Manitoba, minimum age 21 instead of 18 for both tobacco and e-cigarettes, curtailing remaining promotion, a whole series of other measures, including by Federal Health Minister Marjorie Michel to restrict flavors in e-cigarettes. It's a major factor contributing to youth vaping.
All right, you mentioned some regulations you'd like to see beefed up. You also mentioned Canada's tobacco strategy to get to less than 5% tobacco by 2035. Do you think that's still achievable? I mean, we're less than a decade, into that guideline now.
It is achievable, but it all depends on how much we do, especially governments, in terms of a comprehensive strategy of taxation, regulation, and enhanced programming. Manitoba and other provinces right now have a historic opportunity because of the tobacco lawsuit settlement. Manitoba is going to be receiving $1.1 billion over the next 20 to 40 years, payments every July. It's a great opportunity to strengthen the provincial strategy in terms of cessation programs, youth prevention programs, community initiatives, better policy, stronger enforcement, youth vaping, and so on. Now, Manitoba is going to allocate some funds to a new cancer center from the settlement. Obviously, we strongly support that. At the same time, there could be strengthened efforts to reduce smoking and youth vaping in the province.
For those watching right now wanting to quit, what advice can you offer, and what supports are the best bets?
Well, to mention as a reminder that there's a toll-free number on every cigarette package. People can call for free advice and assistance. There's a web address. People can speak with their doctor. People trust their doctors. There are nicotine replacement products such as gum and patch. There are prescription medication products available. But one idea is that many people have not calculated how much it costs each year for cigarettes. It could be several $1,000s. And then they could use that for a vacation or towards a car, down payment on a house, or many other things. And so that financial motivation may combine with the health motivation.
Well, Rob, I want to thank you so much for the tips. It was great speaking with you.
My pleasure. Thanks very much.
The union representing respiratory therapists in Manitoba warns vacancy rates at some Winnipeg hospitals have reached dangerous levels. The Manitoba Association of Healthcare Professionals says there are 50 vacant positions across the city's 3 acute care centers: Health Sciences Centre, St. Boniface Hospital, and Grace Hospital. That's a vacancy rate of 25%, 36%, and 42%, respectively. Even with existing respiratory therapists working thousands of overtime hours, the union says there still isn't enough to fill baseline staffing requirements, putting patients' health at risk.
Respiratory therapists have highly specialized skills that are required in the ER or ICU environment, the intensive care unit, and they are a core part of the team that give patients the best chance of survival, stabilizing what is very often life and death situations.
The union is calling on the province to begin offering incentives for full-time work, night shifts, and those who work in emergency departments. It also wants to see more scholarships or bursaries to encourage people to get trained in the field, as it says the number of students enrolled right now will not offset the number who plan to retire. In an email response to questions, Health Minister Yusoma Asagara says the province has doubled the number of funded respiratory training seats and is working with the University of Manitoba to make sure those seats are filled. The minister goes on to say, quote, respiratory therapists have seen improvements through collective agreements, including increased shift premiums and rural and northern differentials. At the same time, we are focused on education, awareness, and early job connections so more people choose this profession and build long-term careers in Manitoba. A new survey suggests optimism about aging fell sharply over the last year, with financial insecurity and loneliness dampening how many Canadians feel about their golden years. The National Institute on Aging surveyed just over 6,000 adults aged 50 and older last summer for its 4th annual report on perspectives on growing older. While 57% of respondents said they had positive feelings about aging, it's down from 62% the year prior. The latest findings show older adults increasingly cannot afford to retire when they hope to, feel at risk of social isolation, and 59% said they are lonely.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
Get ready to party like it's 1999 when rockers Creed will take the stage in Winnipeg. And if hip-hop is more your speed, tacos and tequila is out with some of its headliners for this summer's festival. Those details next in Spotlight.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting the Roadhammers with Doc Walker.
A Grammy-winning rock band will rock Winnipeg like this. It's the summer of 1999. Creed is bringing its The Summer of 99 tour to Canada Life Centre on July 14th. The band is best known for songs like Higher, With Arms Wide Open, and One Last Breath. Mammoth will open the show. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster. A decorated globe-trotting comedian is bringing his latest show to Winnipeg.
Our pilot didn't say anything until we came to like a complete stop. And then maybe like a minute later, the cockpit door opened up and he stuck his head in and he's like, "You good?"
Gabriel Iglesias is set to take the stage at Canada Life Centre March 13th. It's part of his The 1976 tour, a fluffy celebration. General tickets will be on sale Friday. Just head to fluffyguy.com. A throwback hip-hop festival is coming back to Winnipeg this summer. Tacos and Tequila Festival is taking over Blue Cross Park on August 22nd. T.I. and Rick Ross are headlining this summer's lineup of 90s and early 2000s hip-hop icons. But the fun doesn't stop there. The festival includes lucha libre wrestling, Chihuahua beauty pageant, and of course, plenty of tacos, tequilas, and margaritas. Early bird tickets, including VIP access, are on sale now. Visit tacosandtequilawinnipeg.com. Well, something big is coming to Prairie Theatre Exchange.
It's a celebration of all of the things that are left behind.
PTE will kick off 2026 with a national touring production. The hugely popular Big Stuff is a mix of memoir, scripted comedy, and improvised banter. It features a married couple reflecting on love, the loss of their parents, and the stuff we collect and carry through our lives.
We had a basement full of stuff. Like every corner of the basement had a box marked my mother or your father or your mother.
And we realized we had a different philosophy of what we wanted to do with that stuff. I wanted to throw it all away.
I'm going to keep everything.
It's that debate and stuff that makes the couple and their story so relatable. Big Stuff runs this Thursday, January 21st through February 1st. Tickets are available through PTE's box office. Your Tuesday primetime lineup starts with Will Trent at 7. High Potential follows at 8. Catch the Rookie at 9. And Best Medicine wraps things up at 10. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&Teak Spa Salon.
Well, as light snow moves in late tonight, the temperature rises to -15. It falls in the afternoon tomorrow to -17 with light snow and blowing snow, and then -27 degrees Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Those are daytime highs, folks.
Yikes. All right. Well, it may feel like the ice age outside, but one Winnipeg homeowner is taking his neighborhood back into the Jurassic era. Lee Keast has sculpted a pair of dinosaurs out of snow and ice in front of his Aberdeen Avenue home, one of them towering over the area. And Keast is no stranger to sculpting. He's actually created a number of scenes over the past 10 years, including a race car, a dragon, Santa's sleigh, and a reindeer. And he might not be done yet. We're heard a third might be in the works.
And it will not be melting anytime soon, any of those sculptures.
So go and enjoy them. All right. That does it for us tonight. Have a good one. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good night.